On March 14th, 2012, something big happened. Something so unusual that it had to be documented as the most incredible change of events in history. In the heart of Illinois, the same state that Obama was elected from, one of the most liberal colleges in the state, a Republican candidate turned out more than 5,000 enthusiastic supporters. In fact, recent straw polls show that Ron Paul has over 51% over the other Republican running mates. What is the mainstream media really hiding? Is it the fact that their market share audience is dwindling to its lowest levels in recorded history? Is it because they don't report the real news that you should know about? Is it because their news is more omission than fact? It's no wonder advertisers are leaving mainstream newspapers because no one reads their news anymore. News Worldwide was there to cover the full story. No spin, just the facts. newsworldwide.wordpress.com. Full coverage of Ron Paul on March 14th, 2012.
On behalf of Dr. Paul and the campaign, I want to say thank you to Representative Johnson. We also want to thank the University of Illinois and its wonderful staff. Countless volunteers that made today happen, and you, Dr. Paul's grassroots army. Thousands are attending Dr. Paul's meetings. I think he's right that freedom is popular. And there's never been a better opportunity to restore America than now. We are gaining more votes than ever before for our message, building our base, securing delegate spots, key to winning the nomination, and introducing the party and influencing the party for years to come. No store, and 7 years ago, I too walk these hallways. I too study sometimes. And I too yearn for the message of liberty to come to U of I. Today, I'm especially pleased to come back to campus with the champion of the Constitution and the next President of the United States. I wanted to introduce our next speaker, which is Natasha Montague. She's a senior at the University of Illinois in Champaign, Urbana, and is a leader within the Liberty Movement. So without further ado, Ms. Natasha Montague.
Good evening and welcome to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. It's so exciting to see so many supporters of freedom and liberty out here tonight, and even more exciting to see so many supporters of Dr. Ron Paul.
country and the pundits who continue to say that despite the polls, and despite his appeal, and despite 5,000 people in one room, that Ron Paul can't win. That, to me, epitomizes what's wrong with government today. When we have a self-selected group of elitist opinion makers who tell 5,000 people here that Ron Paul can't win when he's the last committed vote for liberty we have in this country. To me, they're coming from in a flow of consciousness and in a kind of an accord to my high school rhetoric teacher, Mrs. LeSueur, who may actually be here tonight. I thought of a series of words that came to my mind. Genuine, unique, iconic, principled, visionary, integrity-filled, bold, and courageous. And that's what Ron Paul is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, 12 years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Ron Paul, Congressman Paul, and I have witnessed and known a true American legend, a hero whose commitment to liberty has spanned our times. He is at once a real friend of mine, proud of that, and a model of the purest form of public service. Generations from today, you in this audience will be able to look back and say that you were here on March the 14th, 2012, and be able to tell your children and grandchildren that you saw and heard a great patriot whose belief in freedom and fundamental values and in the hope for the American dream will set the course for all time. A few years since 1976. He's a physician who's made a living in the real world. He's a father and a grandfather. In fact, his granddaughter is backstage with us. He's led the crusade for limited government, constitutional principles, individual liberties, fiscal sanity and restraint, and opposition to senseless, silly wars that kill innocent civilians. American servicemen and women, and cost trillions of dollars to add to our burgeoning national debt. Is there anybody in this room today, and I'll be glad to entertain hands, who feels one iota safer because our government for the last eons has conducted an onslaught on the Middle East with somehow the vision that we can win a war? Does anybody in here feel safer for that? Minute, who actually believes that the trillions of dollars we've spent, the lives that it's cost us, and the effect on our human infrastructure here and around the world is not worth the price. He's conducted an incredible campaign. He's survived a long battle from Iowa to Illinois. Ironically, if you look at the polls, the latest Rasmussen poll, Ron Paul is beating President Obama 43 to 41 in the SB. Show that the opposition is falling substantially behind. So the question is, who are you going to listen to? You listen to the American people or the elitist opinion makers who try to frame our opinions and determine who's going to win or lose in the privacy of their own home? I don't think so. He has an across-the-board appeal to liberals, conservatives, independents, ordinary Americans who simply want government to leave them free to pursue their dreams. He defies the worldwide opinion makers who say he can't win because he can't. And the greatest tribute to this gentleman is the fact that we have, working before spring break, we have thousands of people, the biggest turnout in the campaign, bigger than any other campaign anywhere, including any of the contenders, here in one place to play tribute to this great man. So thank you. Fundamental decency and self-sufficiency of individuals in a collective We're about the belief that government should not and cannot spend our money, usurp our freedom, and kill and maim our people in a useless venture that results in no positive gain. It can't involuntarily direct our lives for other proclaimed greater good. So this gentleman is the hope for America that is debt-free, peace-driven, humane and good, and driven by the golden arm of the United States Constitution and the principles of our founding fathers and mothers. In conclusion, he has chosen our community, and we are eternally grateful, Dr. Paul, to bring your campaign to Illinois. He's given his full time and energy to a campaign for tomorrow, and he is our last and best hope for common sense, freedom, and liberty and the dreams of a better world. The individual, I'm doing this out of no teleprompter, by the way, so the individual everyday citizen who simply wants a chance to realize his or her job. Before I introduce the Congressman, our next president, let me point out something. Somewhere in our seat is Gordy Holt. Gordy Holt is, where are you, Gordy? Here somewhere. Right here. Gordy Holt is Champaign County Clerk. He's following Mark Sheldon, who's also here with me, who was the previous Mark Sheldon in the front row, another county clerk. And they both would tell you, and Gordy will tell you specifically, that voting is open today, or it's closed today, it's open tomorrow, it's open Wednesday. So before you go on break, East Washington Street, the Brookings Center, go and vote, because that's the way you make your voice known. I appreciate your indulging me. I appreciate your friendship.